Welcome back to Basement Integrity Podcast by Icerino, episode 22. Last time we really got into the role of demolition and foundation reinforcement, the heavy-duty structural stuff. Today we're diving into something maybe a bit more subtle, but just as critical, especially around here in the GTA. We're talking smart solutions for foundation lowering in high-water table areas. Now, lots of you are thinking about unlocking that basement space, more living area, maybe boost property value, right? But then you hear high-water table and, well, it sounds kind of intimidating. We want to unpack that today, show you it's not a dead end. It's solvable. So let's get right to it. We know our listeners know their stuff, but a high water table in the context of, say, a Toronto basement lowering, what are the specific, maybe elevated concerns we really need a smart plan for? It's more than just a bit of damp, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You're right. For someone really looking into this in the GTA, it's less about just wet ground and more about what that water does. We're talking hydrostatic pressure. Think about it. You dig down, you lower that basement floor, you're basically putting a box into the water table. That water pushes constantly from below the slab against the walls. It's immense force. So it's not just seepage. It's about long-term stress on the foundation, potential cracks, compromising that brand new space you just created. The real worry isn't if water might get in, but how that continuous pressure affects the structure over time.
Right. That constant force. And it seems like we see this challenge everywhere locally. Waterfront areas, sure, but also places near the Oak Ridges moraine. What is it about our specific geography here in the GTA that makes this so, common?
Yeah, it's our unique hydrogeology, really. It's quite fascinating. You've got Lake Ontario, massive body of water, right? Doesn't really change level much. And then geological features like the moraine. They act like huge natural sponges, constantly feeding groundwater into the surrounding soil. So homeowners here aren't just dealing with rainwater that eventually drains away. It's often sustained groundwater levels fed by these big systems. It's different than, say, somewhere with really dry, sandy soil.
Okay, so that constant pressure, the local geology, it really highlights why you can't just, dig and hope for the best. When we at Icerino approach a lowering project like this, what's the absolute first step to manage those risks? Where do we start?
It always starts with a really thorough site assessment. And I don't mean just a quick look. We need to do a deep dive. We're talking about measuring groundwater levels, potentially over time if needed, understanding the soil layers. Is it clay, sand, a mix? We need to map how water actually moves underground on that specific property. It's like getting the precise coordinates and conditions before you even think about designing the solution. It guides everything: foundation depth, drainage type, pump capacity, everything. Doing it without that data, that's just guesswork, and honestly, it's too risky.
That makes perfect sense. Get the intel first.
Yeah.
So once we have that detailed picture, this sort of hydrological blueprint, people often ask about French drains, sump pumps. Are they the go-to solutions? Or is it more complex when dealing with that constant high water table pressure?
They're definitely key tools in the toolbox, yes. But how they're used is crucial, especially in high water table areas. A standard French drain, for example, might be okay for surface water runoff, but for hydrostatic pressure, we're often looking at deeper weeping tile systems, sometimes both inside, under the new slab, and outside the foundation wall. These aren't just simple pipes. They have to be installed correctly, graded perfectly, to actually intercept that groundwater and give it an easy pathway before it pushes hard against the foundation. The goal is pressure relief.
Okay, so directing the water away effectively. And the sump pump, that's the backup plan, the safety net if water somehow gets past those drains. What makes a sump pump setup truly reliable in these potentially demanding situations?
Exactly. The sump pump is your last line of defense. It's critical. And in high water table zones, just having one pump might not cut it. We strongly recommend usually either dual pump systems or at least a heavy-duty primary pump, plus a really reliable battery backup. Think about it, a big storm knocks out the power. That's often when the water table is highest. Without that backup,
Yeah, your basement could flood even with the system in place.
precisely. So redundancy is key. We also look closely at the pump capacity, the GPM, gallons per minute, making sure it can handle the potential volume of water without getting overwhelmed. It needs to be engineered for the worst case scenario.
Right, engineering for resilience. So we've managed the water flow with drainage. We've got the backup pump system. What about the walls themselves? They're still facing that external pressure. How do we make sure they stay dry? How do we build that fortress?
That's where serious waterproofing comes in, and again, it's usually a multi-layered approach. We start on the outside. Before we backfill against the new lower foundation wall, we apply a high-quality exterior waterproofing membrane. This isn't just damp-proofing paint. It's usually a thick, rubberized, seamless membrane that literally stops water from getting to the concrete, like a really tough raincoat for the foundation.
Okay, a physical barrier on the outside.
Yes. Then on the inside, we also meticulously seal any potential entry points. Tiny cracks, tie rod holes left from the concrete forms, things like that. Specialized sealants are used, so the exterior membrane blocks the main pressure, and the interior sealing catches anything incredibly minor that might find a way. It's about creating multiple lines of defense. No weak spots.
That sounds incredibly thorough, building it right from the outside in.
Yeah.
Okay, putting it all together for someone listening. Maybe they live near the lake, maybe near the moraine, and they're thinking about this. Beyond these core systems, the assessment, drainage, pumps, waterproofing, any final pro tips? What really makes the difference between an okay job and a truly successful, long-lasting Isorino project in these conditions?
Good question. A few things really stand out. First, and maybe most importantly, hire the right team. Seriously, not all contractors have the specific experience with GTA high water tables. You need someone like us at Isorino who understands the local soil, the hydrology, and has a proven track record here. Ask for proof, ask about similar projects.
Experience matters.
Immensely. Second, don't cut corners on the system approach. Drainage, pumps, waterproofing, they work together. Trying to skip one or cheap out on another, it compromises the whole defense. It needs to be integrated. And third, something people often forget, look at your landscaping and grading. Making sure the ground around your house slopes away from the foundation seems simple, but it makes a big difference. It reduces how much surface water even gets near the foundation to begin with.
Right, shedding water away naturally.
Exactly. It helps take some load off the below-ground systems. So yeah, right team, integrated systems, and smart grading. That combination is key for long-term success against high water tables.
So what's the bottom line for you, the listener, dreaming of that extra basement space? It means, look, lowering a basement in a high water table area, it's not simple. There aren't really any shortcuts if you want it done right and want peace of mind.
That's exactly it. And that's where we come in. At Isorino, this is what we specialize in across the GTA. We understand these challenges intimately. We're not just digging holes, we're engineering dry, stable, durable spaces that are specifically designed to handle the pressures our local environment throws at them. Working with us means you get a partner who gets it, who knows how to manage that water effectively and build something that lasts.
It really is about building that peace of mind, isn't it? Knowing your investment is solid, dry, and usable for years to come. If this deep dive has got you thinking, or maybe raised some specific questions about your own place, definitely reach out to us. We can help figure out the specifics for your property. Thank you for joining us today as we explored these smart solutions for high water table basement lowering. Hopefully you've picked up some valuable insights to help you move forward confidently. Remember, even with tricky conditions, a dry, deep basement is absolutely achievable with the right approach and the right team. Until next time, keep digging into knowledge.